go to sleep. So I'm gonna do a video to get my thoughts out there. My insides hurt. When I turn on my side, I feel gravity pulling on the GI and kidneys, causing more pain. But when I go on my back, pain seems to build up and adjust the kidneys. So I remember something my roommate David told me, that he uses a blanket to keep his heart in his chest when he lays on his side. The trick works for keeping the GI in, and the only kidney I feel is the right kidney, so the left one gives me a break and the GI gives me a break. I also want to talk about the deepness I have every day in the mind. I went to get a bowl of cereal the other day, and I poured it. It's a generic Hannaford's brand bag of cereal. But the first thought I had after seeing the cereal was Trix is going to lose a shitload of money, and some CEO is getting yelled at because the dog food that Trix has been selling, they're losing money on. The stocks in Trix isn't the same. People aren't buying it the same. Kids aren't liking it the same. Not like it used to be when it used to have the fruit prints. And now those same fruit prints, those same machines and the rights are being used by other corporations. Now I'm seeing the shelf get wiped out by customers. They're loving this generic Trix. It really is being bought up. And there's marshmallows in it. So you got marshmallows and you got the shapes actually printed out like the old school Trix in the 90s. In the 90s, the Trix cereal that was rainbow. And by the way, this is what I eat for dessert. I don't eat this for breakfast. I don't eat, instead of a bowl of ice cream, I have cereal. That is my dessert. For breakfast, I have plain Cheerios or plain oatmeal with a sprinkle of cinnamon with bananas cut up. That's my breakfast, just to let you know. When I'm talking about Trix cereal, this is my dessert. Other people give it to their children for breakfast, but I love this stuff for dessert. But it needs to have a desserty look to it. It needs to look like a dessert for me. It can't be a dog food puff. So, Trix cereal, I used to love how it was like eating a bowl of candy as a kid when I first tried it at about 5, 6, 7 years old. The orphanage used to give it to us once in a while, and you had Rice Krispies, Trix, cornflakes, frosted flakes. These were the options you got most of the time. Of course, I love the Trix. Oh, and we did get Captain Crunch too, but they were pretty. We had Cheerios, Honey Nut Cheerios, no Fruit Loops. We did get Fruit Loops later in other programs, but anyways. But then the Trix cereal went to puffs in the programs, in the hospitals, and I had to switch to the Rice Krispies because the Trix were now these dog food puffs. And the reason why these corporations switch to these dog food puffs is it's easier to put the batter in the machine, it's easier to clean the machine, and it's a faster production. Even with the cheese puff machine, when they make snacks, it's a very easy, quick production. Think of a fan blade pushing out puffs. It's very simple. It's a little more complicated than that, and the machines nowadays go much quicker than the old ones, where we're just a chopper, a heated, and a paste dispenser. It was pretty pretty simple. Even the first cheese puff, was basically coming out of this cement mixer looking machine, heated up with a chopper, chopping it up real quick, popping it like popcorn out of that. It's crazy when you first see it, but it's pretty much the same process they use to make dog food real quickly in large batches. It comes out of that machine like a gun, like bullets coming out of a machine gun. Now, when they're pressing cereal to shape it, like into four, five different shapes, like a bunch of olives, I'm sorry, a bunch of grapes, a banana, an apple, a half-eaten orange or an orange slice, like a half slice of orange. When you're doing shapes like that and you're trying to do a cereal, it compacts the cereal and you can't press it out like a gun, like pump, 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 pump. It's a press. So it's a little different, filling molds or pressing it instead of shooting it out of a hole. When you're making puffs, it's much easier. There's a lot of machines that can make a puff quickly. But if you want to press a fruit-shaped cereal, that's another story. If you want to make a banana, it's a bunch of olives, an orange, and an apple out of cereal, you're going to have to work a little harder on your machinery. And Trix had it. But then they sold the rights, and now the generics have it. And just found that interesting that the whole thing that Trix had was that they had a good texture. And then they sold that texture to get speedy sales. Now they have nothing. I mean, there's already a fruit cereal Pebble, there's a fruit cereal Loop, there's all these other fruit cereals out there. There's plenty of fruit cereals. We didn't need any more, but Trix had a texture. It had a crunchy but yet smooth texture. It was like eating candy, but not quite, because it was compact. The sugar get compact on the way they made them. But then they switched to puffs, and it just lost its novelty. Anyways, yeah, trying to fall asleep, I thought that would be a positive one, instead of remembering that my mother poisoned me with medication and I was held down in hospitals and given double doses and I was smacked around and I was alone in the woods multiple times and running away from programs in the middle of winter, freezing under bridges and crazy, crazy things going on up in the mountains in New Mexico and sleeping on the floor while a green light reflects off of windows and none of us know what it is, and hearing black bears go through dumpsters and getting no education instead of thinking of that. Let's think about the CEO getting yelled at because he sold the rights for pressing his cereal. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's think about how good the Trix cereal was in that bowl of milk, and how other orphans in other countries are probably begging just for a loaf of bread. At least I got Trix cereal in the orphanage I was in. Maybe I was held down and given a double dose of medication because our pharmaceutical industry has got out of control, and maybe our government can't run anything correctly, and that's part of why I got injured. And maybe parents today are not using their common sense and doing stupid things with pharmaceuticals with their children, but at least I had Trix cereal.